Marhaba, and welcome to another deep dive on the world of storytelling. Today we will be taking a look at the storytelling techniques implemented in the works of Mori Koji. Mori Koji is a seinen mangaka who had been noted as a narrative consultant for the famous manga series Berserk, but more famously he's known for his works such as Holy Land, Suicide Island, and Destroy and Revolution. Holy Land was famous enough to get a live-action series in both Japan and Korea, but we don't like those now, do we?
We're here with some of the younger First fans for The Last Airbender, and we'll start with the youngest. What'd you think?
It sucked.
It sucked.
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
I really didn't like it.
What makes Mori Koji's work stand out from the rest is he tends to take a very realistic approach to fictional storytelling. His particular style of storytelling pushes the readers to learn things that they might not have known about the world or even about themselves. Essentially, psychological deep dives. Mori Koji's stories tend to focus on focused observations, using his stories almost as a platform to teach the readers about one thing or another. I personally have read and enjoyed both Holy Land and Suicide Island, and what I liked about it was the fact that Mori Koji does a lot of research on the topics that he writes about, whether it be experiencing an uninhabited island or being in a street fight. He dives into the details and usually narrates the educational bit separately from the main story, as if to pause the main story for a while, just to talk to the readers directly and tell them about a certain fact or detail about what the story is presenting. When I was reading Holy Land and Suicide Island, one thing I noticed was there was a lot of emphasis on the survival aspect, and not just the physical aspect of how you can survive on your own in an island, but also the psychological aspect of it all as well. In a lot of ways, the stories are centered around individuals who have always felt alone and isolated from everyone else. And Mori Koji shines a light on how easy it is to lose hope, but also that even in the darkest of times, people can keep moving forward. This method of creating connection with the readers is definitely something that you don't see in a lot of writers, and it shows how much he really cares about the readers and wants to pass on any knowledge that he himself has learned through the researches that he made during the making of his mangas. While I do recommend reading his mangas, I suggest you take it with a grain of salt because, well, obviously it's not perfect and it has its flaws, but you can be sure that while you get to read a wonderful story, you might even learn something important that might help you along the way.